If you're looking for a way to make football matches more exciting without throwing your money away this season, then you need to download Tipple. Tipple is a free-to-play prediction game built for fans of all 92 English League clubs, perfect to play with your mates while watching the football. Each week you'll be challenged to predict 6 correct results from 20 fixtures across the Premier League, Championship, League 1 and 2. And it's just the results. No scorelines, no budgets, no transfers and no overthinking. So pick your 6, climb the table and rule the group chat with Tipple. The link to download the app is in the description and use this code on screen right now to join our Blues Focus League. Thank you to Tipple for sponsoring this video, and now back to the video. Hello and welcome back to the Blues Focus podcast with me, Tommy Kelsall, and tonight I'm joined with Josh Fletcher. How are we, mate?
Oh, I'm doing well, thank you, mate. Been a while since I've been on the pod. I think it's about over a year, something like that.
I know, man, yeah.
Yeah, good to be back. Good to be back with the channel and talking about the Blues again.
Yeah, it's great to have you back, man. You've been doing some great work with the analysis and stuff like that recently. Yeah. If you haven't already checked that video out, you should definitely do it. In the link will be in the description. We'll be going into a bit more depth and detail tonight, talking about the Ipswich game, the opening game of the season. We should have won the game, but apparently that handball was massively controversial. And to me, it was a pretty straightforward decision, actually. It's unsurprisingly, as you can probably imagine, it's just not a penalty in a million years. But yeah, we'll get onto some more things like that, a bit annoying stuff towards the end of it. But we'll stick to some of the positives, which obviously we played fantastically for our first game back in the Championship, playing a very top Ipswich side as well, who just come down for the Premier League. And yeah, I feel like we were hard done by in the end. But Josh, give us your 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't at the game, unfortunately. I was on holiday. So luckily, me and my mum were able to find a bar, which, funnily enough, was owned by a Villa fan. So his wife had to keep it quiet that she'd put it on in the back room for us. But yeah, just seeing the atmosphere, it looked absolutely amazing. I mean, even we didn't have the sound on, unfortunately, but you could just see the spectacle that it is, which we've come to know, really, under this new Wagner regime and the owners. And we know from the documentary, Tom Brady likes to kind of make a thing about it as well. So yeah, it was just fantastic to see. And it was nice to see the players turn up for it as well. I mean, we saw enough last season of the quality they've got, and going into it, I was it's Ipswich, Premier League team coming down. We weren't really the favourites, but they showed up. And as you say, yeah, it was a game that should have got all 3 points. Referee wasn't really on our side, but I don't think he was good for either team, really. So
yeah,
happy to get the point.
In a weird way, yeah, because at the end of it, I was a bit worrying that we were going to throw it away. But yeah, I mean, it was just like one decision and Ipswich got the goal, really. But yeah, obviously, very disappointed, but very happy with the performance itself. You did a video, obviously, earlier looking into some of the analysis. But one player we should touch on before we get into some of the other teams and everything. Brighton Samuel made his debut for Blues on Friday night, I should say, actually. It was, widely received as our man of the match across our polls on our Twitter. So yeah, give him the rundown on that, because honestly, I mean, like, for a first game at St Andrews in the heat that it was, he played absolutely phenomenally.
Yeah, I mean, he's got an engine on him, hasn't he? I mean, we know Ethan Laird can bomb up and down the wing, but Asai Sam was just doing it all game, non-stop. I mean, he'd got obviously the likes of Jack Clark, who is, when he was in the Championship, probably the best winger that was there when he was at Sunderland in the league. So having him and Leif Davis on that side as well, he did superbly. And I mean, rightfully man of the match. For me, there was another name which I touched on in the video as well, that I'm sure we'll talk about. But Asai Sam was just brilliant. I mean, he basically is Ethan Laird with just a bit more composure, I'd say. And it's fantastic to think that we've got both of them as options. I mean, when we got Ethan Laird 2 years ago, everyone was saying, oh, that's the right back sorted for however many years. And Asai Samuel's come in now, and it's like, what, does Laird even get back in?
It's a good debate, isn't it? I mean, like, I've always been of the impression of, like, if players don't do any wrong, then they shouldn't be booted out the team. I mean, Allsop's had that, actually. But Ethan Laird hasn't, which is surprising. But also at the same time, when you do consider that Asai Samuel's played in Fenerbahce under those extreme conditions that fans really give you and everything, and he has had Championship experience before, I suppose Davis wanted him to give him a bit of a run around, and see what he was about. And in pre-season, he definitely proved that he was more than capable of up to the task. Because he didn't start in the Sevilla game. That was the first one. Ethan Laird started that one. But when he came on against Sevilla, I think he showed some similar attributes that Ethan Laird has, like the pace you were talking about, up and down the line and everything. And like you were saying, just a little bit more composure as well, which I think is from that experience of him playing in the Championship and in Fenerbahce. So yeah, I think it was the right choice to start him, wasn't it? And even when Ethan Laird did come on, actually, he was proving himself, more than capable. But they're like perfect competition for each other as well, So they both will get game time this season. I'm absolutely certain of that, providing that both of them stay fit, of course. But they are like perfect competition because they can just one up each other every time. They're playing a very simple game of like sort of chasing each other, but they're just trying to do one better than each other. But particularly him with Damari Gray on Friday night, because he played phenomenally as well. I thought he just sat in that role and just picked up where you needed. But also they switched around quite a lot, didn't they, as well, particularly for the goal as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you watch the goal back, it's very much Asai Samuel is just on Clark. And I noticed in the second half that Gray was dropping a lot. Obviously, Davis was pushing a lot forward a lot more, which he'd clearly been told to do in the second half. And Gray followed him. And Asai Samuel wins the header in the middle because he's just followed Clark wherever he's gone. And then he's won that header. And that's obviously where the goals come from. But touch on Damari Gray. I'm really looking forward to seeing him. I mean, when he came in, I heard a lot of people being like, oh, why are we getting him? We're overpaying for him. And I was totally on the bandwagon of, yes, get him in. I think people were saying, oh, he's come back because it's his childhood club. But yeah, obviously, he's been to Saudi Arabia. But I mean, just seeing it the other night and seeing it in the friendlies as well, and in the Nottingham Forest game, he's just got that quality of you give him the ball and he's got that thing of he'll have 2-3 people around him and he'll just come out with it. And you're watching going, how has he still got the ball? But he's just got that like composure. Like if a player will become to, he doesn't really rush anything either. He doesn't get it and immediately be like, oh, I'm going to run at you and try and take you on with no options. He looks up and he'll only do it if it's, I can get round you or I can get somewhere. If not, he'll just keep the ball and keep possession, which, I mean, with Asai Samuel, I should say, they worked really well together. And to think that they've only played 3 games really together.
Not really. I mean, there was, because there was a lot of chop and change in pre-season as well, wasn't there? With different teams and everything. But one thing actually I did forget to mention actually is obviously Tommy Doyle was like the main midfielder we've been featuring in pre-season, and he didn't start on Friday night. No. It was a bit of a switch up and putting Kyogo in, which really worked as well. I mean, I love Davis sometimes when he just throws in a bit of spanner in the works. You know what I mean? It's a really smart sort of way of doing it, because I think Ipswich, when they were coming into the preparation of this game, probably expected that back four and then a couple of midfield players. They expected Paik and Iwata, and I think they expected Tommy Doyle as well. So for Davis just to be like, right, we're putting Kyogo in and playing like a bit of a, I don't even know what the word is, but like an untraditional 4-4-2 almost, having Kyogo dropping in and Stansfield sort of drifting along that front line, then it caused them issues. You can see as well, and obviously we should touch on actually the Kyogo disallowed goal in the first half, which should never have been ruled out. Honestly, I cannot believe, I'm a big, I love football and everything, I've watched it all my life and everything. But I've never known football to be so soft nowadays. Like literally, like one little touch and everything just goes. Everything stops. The game is then, halts and everything, free kicks and all sorts and everything. But like, if we're getting to a point where fouls like that are going to be caused, then what? I don't understand. But the referee had an absolute shocker, because literally moments later the ball goes up the pitch and then pretty much the same thing happens again, and then there is no foul.
Yeah, you saw it in your vlog where it was literally like 2 minutes later, the defender does it to Kyogo, doesn't he? And doesn't get anything. Yeah. It's like, well, I thought it was meant to be the attacker gets the advantage, gets the benefit of the doubt. Yet nowadays it's like the other way around. It's like they'd rather give a foul than a goal.
I know. It feels strange, that does. Like I obviously, when I was growing up, I did a bit of refereeing myself on Sundays and everything, just to get a bit of pocket money and everything. But I was always of the impression, and as referees always taught me when I was growing up, is don't give anything unless you're absolutely certain of it. And you cannot be certain that was a foul or an impediment or whatever it is called in the actual letter of the law. But surely, like, if you're a referee and you're a fair few feet away from the actual decision, the linesman's over there. So if I remember rightly, I think it was the referee that gave the decision, not the linesman. But even still, like, you just can't give something like that, because honestly, like, I'm of the impression as well, you should just give less fouls, and let the game play because the game was already heating up in a good way. If you'd have
Yeah.
let it carry on, then the referee could just sit back for a little bit and doesn't have to worry about giving too many decisions. And as soon as the big challenges do come in and there are like
Yeah.
actual fouls being given, then you can give them. And the crowd on your back every moment then as well, are they?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you said it in your vlog towards the end when everything that happened with like the Connor Chaplin, it was a stupid thing for him to do. But all of that probably doesn't happen if all the other decisions, like the ref lost the game within the first 15 minutes. I mean,
I'd
we
say
were
the first
watching it
5 minutes, honestly.
well, yeah. And it was just like stupid fouls that he was giving and then things that they weren't. And I mean, I want to touch on going back to Asai Samuel as well. He figured it out. And I think he's got that footballing knowledge and he figured it out very quickly that all I have to do is get touched. And if I go down, I get a foul. And there
He
were a
did a
couple
lot
of
of that,
times
actually, yeah.
there was a couple of times where I think he knew, oh, I'm in a bit of a pickle, go down
He's
and get it.
smart,
I
yeah.
mean, there was the Ben Johnson one in the first half that Anderson doesn't even touch him. He slips, goes
Yeah.
down, referee gives a foul. And it's just that, like, why? And as you say, the game then slows down. Everyone gets annoyed. You can see they're getting annoyed. We're getting annoyed. The fans get annoyed. The players, everyone. And that's where the ref just loses it. And as you say, just let the game go. And I think the game would have been 10 times better if he just let it go. I mean, for the neutral, obviously they're going to love it because it ramps up the atmosphere and everything. But
Oh yeah, I just think though, like if you are a referee, you can manage the game so much so much better if you just let them play. So
yeah,
if there are a couple of touches and players are diving, because that's the big problem nowadays, because the players know that they'll get a foul if they get a little touch and they jump over. If the referees go no, get on your feet, then they'll stop doing it. They're
yeah,
not stupid. They know what the referee is looking for, and so if the referee's going to give everything for a little touch, then they'll know to do that. But if the referee's like, no, we're not going to do that, we're going to actually put in like actual fouls, then
yeah,
they won't do that. But they're not going to carry on doing it because then, I mean, in the letter of the law, a lot of those fouls that were given really should have been yellow cards for simulation, in my opinion,
yeah,
because like the amount of times that players just jump over or slip over or whatever and looking
yeah,
for the referee, and if it's like you're diving, what happened
yeah.
to diving? Honestly, they brought Ashley Young on later on. I was thinking if he does something like that and does a
You
dive
can
or
see
whatever it
it.
is,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
going to go furious if that was happening then, honestly. But yeah,
yeah,
let's just talk a bit more about the Blues in particular because we played so well throughout the whole entire
yeah,
game, and there is one point actually which you included in your video from that little side angle from one of the guys who was filming up in the Gil Merrick on TikTok. And we start from the back and we sort of move all the way across on one side of the pitch and then go all the way back on the other side, work
yeah,
it down that right hand side. And then if the options are not open again, we shift all the players onto the other side of the pitch. And a lot of people might, be against the sort of modern football take on keeping possession and everything. But I love that swizz on it. You know what I mean? Like this,
yeah,
it's forward thinking, crowding around their box, really getting in their face and everything, and moving up the pitch really quickly as well. So I love that idea of possession-based football, not the slow, keeping it in the midfield and no attacking. We've had possession-based football like that under different managers before where we just get stuck in that
yeah.
middle of the pitch. But like Davis is just like, God, it's working in such a brilliant way. And obviously with the confidence just on cloud nine, like the players are willing to try everything at this point, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as you saw from that video, it was, yes, it's possession based, but the movement is quick. It is that 1-2 touch football. There's no one that gets it and just kind of stops. And even then, when they do stop, you can see the players moving. I mean, I was watching the Leicester game last night, and there were so many times where Leicester got it forward and then got to a point and just stopped, and everyone was standing. Where if you watch that video back of Blues, you can see that every player, even the ones that are, they're not just standing, they are moving and they're dragging people out. I mean, you've got Gray makes a great running behind, but he's never going to get the ball. He's never going to get the pass, but he makes the run just to drag his defender out. And I
I
think
love
that's
that.
the difference. And I think us having that possession last season, there were times where it was just slow. But I think Davis has drilled it in them. No, we're going to go quick. We're going to make sure that we get it and we are going to progress forward. And if there is a moment where we have to come back, and there were times in the game where it would come back to Clara and they would go back to Allsop, but it wasn't like we're just standing, waiting. It was, okay, we're just going to go. and that
Yeah,
build up was there. And I have to say, Peiki Iwata, especially in that first half, their
so
passing
good.
was really, really, really good. I mean, for me, Iwata kind of towards the end of the season, he dropped off a little bit. I don't know if that was tiredness, but he's passing. There were a couple of times where
Mm.
the balls would just go anywhere, and you think, "What are you doing?" But in that game, he really turned up, and I think adding Tommy Doyle to that as well.
I know,
I
it's
mean,
scary,
yeah,
really
it
scary.
is like the options that we've got now. And I mean, even our new signing, the big German up front, he's got
Mm.
some good passing on him as well. He's not the big target man that we think he is. Like, he's got some good movement. So adding him to
Yeah,
the mix as well, it is really good to see the options that we've got.
I think he's not your typical sort of Duke replacement, isn't he? You know,
No,
he's
not
got
at
that
all.
sort of he's got some similar attributes, but he's not all just about that. No offense to Duke, you know, he's an absolute
Yeah,
hero for us and
yeah,
bailed us out
mhm,
so many times. But still, like Marvin Duck's just come out from a very good Werder Bremen side,
yeah,
and he's
yeah,
sort of he's got more about me, you know, because he's I don't know, he's a second striker, isn't he? But he can do more and hold the play up and good
yeah.
passing, as you said. He's got a good free kick as well, hasn't he? From what I've seen.
Yeah, he takes most of the set pieces for Werder Bremen. I think I looked into his stats and everything, and I think in the Bundesliga, in terms of chances created from set pieces, he was like third or something
Mm,
in the whole league, which just shows. I mean, you'd look at him and you'd think, oh yeah, you want him in the box, but actually he's the one taking them.
mm.
So there's another kind of thing that we could potentially
Yeah, because
use
we
with
don't
him
really
as well.
have much of a free kick taker, do we? I mean, like last season,
It's
towards the
really
end of the
common,
season,
isn't
yeah, I'd probably say so. I feel like we had Dow last season on some penalties,
it?
but really free kick takers. I mean, Gray took one in the game against Ipswich, and I
Yeah.
was sort of hoping that would be a little bit better, but I suppose it's a bit further out than probably
Mm.
expected. But I don't know, maybe someone who is quite tall and quite powerful. You know, even the way he kind of strikes me actually with those sort of free kick stances kind of gives me. I mean, obviously, I'm not comparing the ability to that extent, but like he kind of reminds me a bit like Ibrahimovic on free kicks. You know, sort of
Yeah.
like a tall but very powerful man. You know, can just sort of hit them straight and everything. So I
Yeah.
think there's a little bit of that, isn't there, about Dux? But yeah, I'm really excited to see what he's about. He seems like a really nice guy as well. You know, he's talking about
Yeah.
the Harlequin celebration, I believe it's called. I mean, he does that sort of thing with his
Yes.
hands and
Yeah.
everything. So that was quite a personal one. That was getting a little bit
Mhm.
emotional in his interview there. Which, you know, I mean, it seems really nice that he's dedicated the celebration to a good friend of his growing up and really
Definitely.
helped him out and everything. So I like I like the look of him. You know, he seems like a proper down to earth bloke and a
Mm.
nice guy to get along with in the dressing room as well. You know, but like
Yeah.
and I can't remember who said it. I think it was Jordan when I was in the Rooster on the day. But he said that you know, he's going to be a decent player at least for us
Mm.
when the team that he's just left has left us tribute video for him.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and that was a good indication, I think.
I mean, the biggest thing for me is that he was kind of plays in a front two, and
Mm.
his strike partner last year was Oliver Burke, and he got 5 goals.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he can get Ollie Burke scoring, then I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh man, Ollie
yeah.
fucking Burke. Jesus Christ, I
Oh,
remember that player.
yeah.
I'll never ever recover from that game we went to at Rotherham, and then he just decided Gary Wright was just going to stick Ollie Burke up front. So I was like, why? Why have you done that? Honestly, poor Ollie
Yeah.
Burke. Honestly, he had a nightmare at Blues, didn't he? But
He
yeah, I
did.
mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, like Dux just seems to have that sort of aura about him as a big sort of forward man. You know, he's not the target man, but he's definitely got those abilities, isn't he, up front?
Yeah.
And it's going to be a difficult sort of way to see how he fits in, but there's a lot of options up front now, isn't there?
Definitely. And I mean, it's good to see we've got kind of different options in that we've got. I mean, I don't really know what happens with Dykes now because he's basically
Mm.
fourth choice. I know
I
he
saw a few
came
people
on.
having a go at him actually on the for the game
Yeah.
actually.
I kind of feel for Lyndon Dykes. I mean, I wasn't a fan when we got him. I didn't
Mm.
really
Probably the
agree.
same
I,
here, yeah.
I didn't think he was as good as everyone was saying. Kind of seen him at QPR and wasn't really impressed.
Mm.
Um,
Agreed.
but then last season, I don't really feel like he got much of a chance. He was only really coming on the bench, and then when he did play, he was kind of either the game was
Mm.
over or it was just lumpy balls in the box. Um, but then I guess you could say that's kind of his what you want from him.
That's it, yeah.
So I don't know whether he's happy being fourth choice. I personally would say keep him because we're going to have injuries. Someone's bound to get injured.
It's a good
So,
point. Yeah.
and I think Davis is quite good, as you say, of being, well, if you make an impact, you're going to get you're going to get your chance. I mean, apart from Williamson, he doesn't seem to just hand places to people. Like, you do have to earn it,
Yeah.
and he won't just bring players straight back into the team. So, I mean, hopefully Dykes does stay, but as I say, we've got lots of different options. We've got target man Dykes if you want to. You've got, as we saw, Stansfield, Kyogo. I think there's going to be more that come in as well. Not necessarily strikers. I think definitely I'd be looking at a winger, someone fast, probably to play on the right. But then,
Yeah, I
even
get what you
then,
mean, actually. Yeah.
we're still we're quite close to the amount of players that we can have. So whether we let someone go to bring someone else in, I don't know. But I mean, if we don't bring anyone else in, we've got loads of different options.
Yeah,
Loads.
agreed. Yeah. I mean, like, I think a winger might be a good choice, actually, because now that I think of it, it is kind of just Gray and Anderson at the moment,
Yeah,
isn't it?
definitely a left-footed one for me. We've got Scott Wright who's coming back, but what he's going to be like after injury,
Yeah,
don't
it's hard to
really
tell,
know.
isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know whether he's one that comes back, goes out on loan just to get fitness back, kind of like when Buchanan comes back. I think he's a bit different because there's only really him and Cochrane at left back, so we kind of might need to keep him. But I think really, as you say, we've got Gray, Anderson, Scott Wright, and then it's a case of square pegs in round holes. God, that Hickman can play out there, but
I suppose Asai Samuel could move further forward, couldn't he?
yeah, I mean, yeah, he scored his goal against us for QPR when he was playing on the wing, so
Oh,
there's
bloody
that
hell, that
option.
goal, honestly.
I know, yeah. But yeah, it's as I say, we've got lots of options. We know Stansfield can kind of play out there if needs be. We've got a couple of other options. George Hall has impressed me during pre-season.
I agree, yeah.
I think he's definitely one that if he goes out on loan, I'd send him to a League One team. He did well at Walsall, so step up for him. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'm going to the game tomorrow against Sheffield, so I'm hoping, not Wednesday, sorry.
Wednesday, I see, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm hoping he gets a chance and to prove what he's about. So, but yeah, we have got options. I think probably a left-footed winger, as I said, someone to come in that's got a bit of pace. I don't really want someone like a Miyoshi or a Jota who was technical but not quick. I think we need pace.
I think that. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the problem, like, with players that we tried to bring in before, like Miyoshi and Jota, was the fact that they weren't wingers, and we did use them as wingers, didn't we?
Yeah, I think although Davis does I mean, Gray was doing it as well, and that he was kind of coming into a side Samuel can go round. I think having like a proper winger, even if they do still want to come in, that's why I think having left footers is better. Even if they still want to come in, I think still having that pace, because then the opposition are like, well, what are they going to do? Are they going to go out? Are they going to come in? I mean, we saw it. Laird did a couple of times last season where we had almost like an inverted right back where he would come in. So maybe we try that. I don't know. I mean, that's the beauty about this season. We've got loads of options in that Davis can kind of tinker and do what he needs to. I think last season we were kind of set in stone, but it worked because every team we played against played pretty much the same way.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah,
because like with the ball.
Yeah, because with Ipswich, like, and we kind of expected this from last season, actually, for this season, is that we knew that teams would come at us more. You know, they would have like their belief in their system to go and try and beat us. And I feel like we really exposed that on Friday night. But with teams in the League One, it's just like they sat back because, like, let's just not get pummeled like we did with some teams last season. And that was really one of the reasons why we didn't just smash teams every single game, because if they did just come at us, we'd just absolutely rollock them on the counter attack. So yeah, I agree. You know, I feel like there are going to be chances this season for us to experiment and for us to try out different systems and put in different players. You know, and I think with Tommy Doyle, I think in particular that he might play against Sheffield United, but I definitely expect him to start against Blackburn, because if we can control the ball for all of that game, I think he's the perfect player to have alongside Iwata and Paik, because I mean, in previous years, obviously, we'll get onto this a bit later about Blackburn, which I really want to win, by the way, because we always lose there. But just talking about like how we can really just maximise the possession in that game, because if we dominate possession
Yeah.
against Blackburn, then we'll no doubt absolutely just walk it, you know. But yeah, in terms of the goal, I think obviously it was a very similar setup to the Kyogo disallowed goal in the first half. Kyogo
Yeah.
gets in behind after Samuel heads it on, uses his strength, does well to get round the player, and then just a little touch over the goalkeeper, comes back off the post, but Jay is there to absolutely rifle it back into the roof of the net. Really good finish. You know, it was a difficult moment for him as well because,
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of helped that, I think so, Shea, isn't it? He decides to go back on the line, which in
Yeah.
hindsight, I've no idea why he did that. He should have gone straight back out. He should have tried to close the gap and try and stop
Yeah.
Jay from going one side, but he sticks on the line. So Jay's got the whole goal to aim at then. And of course, he does the smart thing and put it in towards the roof of the net because, I mean, unless you're going to do like the most unbelievable header out of the back of the net, then you probably the best option you got is try and handball it out or whatever. But then, not a chance. Jay puts it in with lots of speed, lots of power, and we're 1-0 up and deservedly 1-0 up at that point. You
Yeah.
know, we were absolutely fully in control. You know, we were absolutely dominating possession at that point. We've come out really strong, fast pressing and getting the ball and forcing them errors. And we deserved that lead, you know. And I thought what we did brilliantly after that is the way that we managed the game in just sort of running the clock down. You know, we just kept the
Yeah.
ball, winning a couple of fouls here and there. And I'm not a fan of it in particular, but like if it's going to be the opening day win that I was hoping for and was kind of predicting actually, I'd guessed 1-0 earlier on in the day. So I was absolutely devastated when that penalty got awarded. But I was really pleased with just by the way that, you know, obviously like the atmosphere after that goal and before the game and everything, it was just like unbelievable. You know, we were truly back as a club. You know, we were so
Yeah.
excited to get back underway. I've not been excited for a season like this since I was about 6 years old, when I was running around my back garden in Quinton thinking I was Mikhail Forsell in that penguin kit or whatever. But like that's the thing, because like, I've not spoken to one person this whole entire preseason, this whole entire start of the season, where I haven't been. They haven't said that we're not going to contest for promotion, which is so exciting for me because like we went down in 2011, so I'd have been 8, I believe, at the time, and I'm now 22. So in that length of time, that 14 years, I could have lived my entire life up to year 9 again. And literally would still be in the championship and League One for one of them. But it's like, I need this. Like, we need to get
Yeah.
promoted again. And honestly, the atmosphere just summed that up. You know, the fans were so excited, were so desperate to get back to the Premier League and everything. And we started it in the perfect way. You know, we were dominating the game, playing really well against probably the best team in the league this season. And obviously, they have now signed Akpom since then. Which was an amazing move by Tom Wagner to put a bid in
Yeah.
and just destroy all of that. That was fantastic. That was. I think was it you that said that's a proper chess move in the chat? I was like, that was
Yeah, I think so. It was proper 4D chess.
Exactly. Like they're just like the strategy behind that. I love that, you know. But obviously he has now signed for Ipswich. But just to push that back a little bit just gave us the edge, and we thoroughly deserved to win the game. We had like Neumann and Clara at the back, put no foot wrong throughout the whole game. Really, I mean, like actually, the one decision that I can probably think of is maybe the free header that I think Schmodix had at the end of the first half. But even then, like it was a bit of a difficult chance for him. But apart, I mean, like, Allsop gave away the chance for Schmodix, which he blasts wide. But Clara and Neumann, I can't think of a single thing they did wrong all game.
No, I think for me, Neumann is. I think he's going to be what Clara was last season, where everyone was like, "Oh my god, he's incredible." I think Neumann will be that this season. I think
100%.
just watching that first game, Neumann for me made Clara look average.
I know.
I think watching Clara, it was definitely difficult. The fact he's not left-footed, and I think Ipswich picked up on that very quickly because every goal kick, I think when George Hurst kind of went to Allsop, he made himself so he just passed it to Clara, and every time you could see Clara got it, and he just didn't want to use his left foot, and that's the only thing that I worry about with that. But even there was the moment in the first half where I think the ball had got played over, and it was just Clara and Norman. Neither of them knew which one was going to head the ball, and they both left it. Clara missed a tackle, and Neumann just came like a freight train, and just out of nowhere.
I remember this now.
And I just remember, I just was watching it going, "Oh my god, he's so quick! Like, how are you that big
I know.
that quick. And I thought he was gonna be this guy that, oh yeah, he's brilliantly physically and he'll win all the duels, but then you give him the ball at his feet and he'll fall over it.
Mm,
No, just
not
got
at
it,
all.
and it was just boom, out you go. Just simple
Yeah.
pass, simple. I mean, I'm still waiting for the day where he'll get it and just does that run where
Yes.
he's got no options and he just goes and goes and goes and goes and keeps going. It reminds me of I think Bielik did it. Was it 2 years ago? It might have been even been the
Yes.
Norwich game where we went down, where he just got it and he just kept going, just
Oh
kept going,
yeah.
and I
I
think we
feel
ended
like I
up.
know that.
I feel like we ended up scoring from it or something, but yeah, I
Oh,
think Neumann, Clara. It's one of those where you look at it and you go, again, Bielik and Cashin. What? I mean, get comfy on the bench,
mm,
really,
yeah,
because
that's true.
I can't really see them getting in. I mean, unless one of them gets injured. I mean, I know it's
Mm,
only been one game, but even in the pre-season, like Nottingham Forest had nothing
mm.
really in that friendly. Clara looked really good in the Seville game, as did Neumann as well. So, like, really,
I
it's really good. And they're only going to get better as well the more they play with
exactly.
each
Yeah.
other. And they're both quite young as well. I mean, Clara turned. I want to say
I
did he
can't.
turn 25 the other day?
Yeah, they're around that sort of
And
middle
Neumann,
20
yeah,
years. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, we've basically got them just before their peaks.
Mm,
So they're only going to get better, and
mm.
they are a pairing that I could see taking us to the Prem
Don't say those
easily.
words. Don't treat me with the good times, Josh. Honestly.
I mean,
Honestly, it's so nice to have like some actual proper height in the team as well. Because
yeah,
years and years
oh
of
yeah,
teams where we just seem to hit that 6 foot mark and then don't have anybody else above that. I mean, Duke is like a great
yeah,
physical aerial threat. Even he wasn't as like tall as Clara or
yeah.
Neumann, but the we look such a unit as a team now. Like every
Oh god,
single
yeah.
player fits in perfectly, and Neumann and Clara
Mm,
complement each other perfectly because they bring that height that is
yeah.
desperately needed in the modern game when it comes to defending and pace and power.
Mm,
They're perfect for this division. So I'm really hoping they can come together and really just form like a formidable backline because there were so many people that, like I'm saying, like this is not just coming from me as a Blues fan getting overexcited. There were so many people on Twitter that were saying Birmingham were absolutely robbed. They were the best team on the night by an absolute
mm,
country mile. Clara and Neumann and Pakin and Iwata and Stansfield and Kyogo and so many different pairings, like Gray and Asai Samuel, every single one of them just seemed to
yeah.
complement each other brilliantly. And I think loads of people, I mean, like a couple of people that I watched when I was doing my score championship predictions a couple of days ago. They had us like third and second and first. I mean, like the
Mm.
Irish guy had us first, which obviously means that we're not going to get promoted first now. But still, like it's amazing to consider like where we were a couple of seasons ago. No one was putting us
Yeah,
first, and like now it's like people are actually doing that off their own choices. Do you know what I mean? They're not just saying, "Oh, Birmingham will
yeah,
get promoted first." They're fully convicted, and people that watch the documentary as all Blues fans have now as well. They're like, "Yeah, I think we're
yeah,
going to do it," which is so
yeah,
excited. I can't even get myself to bring it
yeah.
together.
I mean, for me, it's a bit of a personal one. I feel so good for Gardner.
Mm,
I was there at the Tottenham game when we got relegated, and after the game, we were driving back on the motorway, and we pulled over at services, and Craig Gardner and Ben Foster were there.
mm,
They'd not travelled with the team; they'd come home, and I got a picture with them both. And Gardner was he didn't even speak. He kind of
mm.
had the photo, and I remember at the time being like, "Oh, that was a bit weird," but obviously now as I got a bit older, kind of understood how he must have been feeling at that time, and I just
Mm.
can't wait for if it
Yeah.
does happen and we get back. And I
Mm.
think the documentary for him just showed how much pressure he's under in his
Mm.
role, and I don't think he gets enough credit for the
Yeah,
work
I
that's been
agree.
done. I think he's been crucial in not just the players that we get. I think he was crucial in getting Davis in,
Yeah.
and I think it's so good to see him, a local lad, Blues fan who wants the club to do well. And
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing for me. It feels like our club again. It's
Oh,
not just a,
100%.
a
Yeah.
team that we support and we go and see. It's our club, and that feeling's back. Like you
Mm.
could see it against Ipswich, like the fans that were there and just everyone. I mean, I'm not a very emotional guy, but even the last game of last season when we were lifting that trophy, I was feeling it.
Mm.
I was getting those emotions, and that was just for League One. So if we
Exactly, yeah.
could do it again, then yeah.
I'm a very emotional person on the other end. I get annoyed and very happy with
Oh
things. I'm
no,
like,
I,
hit
I,
that.
I get annoyed. I get very annoyed at the Blues. Trust me.
Yes.
But yeah, no, my mum and granddad are constantly telling me to calm down. I imagine the people around me don't like it much, but yeah, it's. I've definitely been moaning less and
Mm.
less, and I think just this season, like
Oh, yeah.
as you
I
say,
can't
like
wait.
the connections that are on the pitch and the players that we've got, and then you think we've got the Euro under 21s goalkeeper on the bench that I don't really see him getting in either.
It's just crazy,
Like
that is, yeah.
like the fact we've got a goalkeeper like Allsop again, Blues fan, like it just kind of adds to it, and you can see all the players want to be here.
Hmm.
There's no player in that team that I'm just like, oh, they're here to pick up a paycheck, they're going home at the end of the day and whatever. Like all of them want to fight. You could see it in the game, like how
Mm.
just like emotions would get into them as well, which can be a negative, but I think they've got that togetherness in that they use it for good.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, like, a bit back on Gardner, actually, is that when he did get appointed as whatever role he had back then, I don't think it's the same role he's got now. But I did remember thinking, I criticised him a couple of times on podcasts as well,
Yeah.
just because I thought, we're going nowhere if we appointed Craig
Mhm.
Gardner, because it just felt like we were giving jobs out to our mates and everything. But
Yeah.
you've got to give him credit, honestly. And I really like the guy in particular. I've had a couple of conversations with him before off camera. And he's just, he knows what he's doing now. And I feel like
Mm.
before I was always just a bit worried that he was just sort of that bloke who's like, give a job for him, he'll
Yeah.
say all the right things that a club wants you to say, and obviously BSHL, they were just finding people that the club could find like, just sort of like actual links with, really, because they were faceless bastards we all knew and
Yeah.
everything. But I feel like with Knighthead, when they kept him on, I was like, that's interesting. I thought they were going to get rid of
Mhm.
him and bring someone else in. And in the future, things might change and, things might get to a point where he can't continue in his job and you might find someone else that's good enough. But for what he's done at this point, and there's a lot of people as well that can be said in the backroom staff of all the board and everything, they've worked their absolute bollocks off and everything. There's just been to get to this point, it's like a massive achievement, and like you were saying, like
Yeah.
God, that does not get enough credit for the work that he does sometimes. I'm like, the guy, he's an ex-footballer, massive Blues fan and everything. There's some huge connections to the club and everything. And to, work his heart out for all of this when times were tough and everything. And a lot of other people in the background for the Blues as well, when
Mhm.
times were tough, they stuck at it. And look at us now, like we're really reaping the benefits. And I
Yeah.
saw that Dale Moon had put on his LinkedIn that he'd got a new job, new role at the club and everything. I was like, good on him, because like there were
Yeah.
so many times where like he easily could have just gone, this is an absolute shit show. I'm going to pack it in. There's better jobs out there. I'm not going to keep on working for BSHL, those faceless owners and everything. I'll go and get another job, less stressful. That's definitely one of the things that was on
Yeah.
that list. But he stuck it out. He's had a real tough time in the last few years dealing with Blues and everything. But look at it now. Like he's got
Mm.
probably the best job in the world, and as fans, obviously, we were stuck with this. So for those people to have stuck it out and helped us along this way, and Tom Wagner to come in with Tom Brady and Knighthead and everything that's happened since, like you say that we're back, like that we're back, but in a different way. Like this is like
Yeah.
unknown territory for Blues fans. This is, we're in such a way that everybody pretty much in English football is looking at us with envy at the moment. We have the best owners in the world. No one
Mhm.
can describe that as a different way. City have got like the I'll get this right. Is it the Saudi Arabian family? I can't remember exactly what they are,
Yeah.
but like I think it's the Saudi Arabia. I might be wrong on that. Apologies if I am. But like they've got like their owners. You've got a couple of other good owners. Like Liverpool have got really good owners. They spend big every summer. Particularly this summer as well. I was only watching the Community Shield yesterday, and they seem to bring on like a new player every 5 minutes. But even still, it was like no one looks at Blues and thinks, "Yeah, I don't want those owners. They're not for me. They are." But no one thinks like that. Everyone's thinking right now, God, I'd love Chris Davis as manager. God, I'd love Tom Brady as my spokesman and Tom Wagner as my chairman, even Craig Gardner in the team and everything. It's just like people must just be looking on us at the moment, just thinking that I'd love to be a Blues fan. But honestly, the hard work it's took to get to this point, it's not just
Oh.
because we've thrown loads of cash at it. It's because we've had to, come down into the division in League One, get promoted again, win all those points, buy all those players and build a team, get a manager, put it all together and look at what we're doing. We haven't even really achieved anything at the moment. Yet there's so much envy for us at the moment. It's like, yeah, because we've put the hard work in, because we've took it from absolutely nothing where the club was on its arse to this point right now. And honestly, fair play to everybody that's involved in the club because it's been really difficult. And as fans, it's been really tricky to just carry on. And it was a chore years ago, wasn't it? Going to the Blues and everything. But now it's like, I couldn't wait to get started. And that's why it was a right kick in the teeth when we did concede, which of course we'll talk a little bit about now.
This video is proudly supported by RM Risk Management, providing a comprehensive range of services tailored to UK property managers. Visit rmriskmanagement.co.uk to ensure a secure tomorrow.
Yeah, it was a bit, contentious decision. I know, even watching it on the telly when it happened, I know you kind of said in the blog that no one really knew why. Even watching it on the telly, we didn't have the sound on, but he kind of pointed down. And even we were like, oh, okay, free kick. And it took us a couple of seconds. And then he gave the penalty. And we were like, why? And it was only when we saw the replay. And it was one of those where in the moment, I was like, and then a couple of seconds later, I went, if that's down the other end, we are screaming for that.
Maybe. So I don't know, actually, though.
I think we would be. I think if he hadn't given it, no, I don't really think anyone would have said anything either.
Yeah.
But I think it is one of those where if it's us and he doesn't give it, we're fuming. And if we end up losing 1-0, we would be fuming and feel like, oh, we've been robbed. I think the fact we had all of the other decisions go against us as well, like
that's
the Kyogo goal. I think that it was like the straw that broke the camel's back. It was one of those where it was like for me, I was coming away with it going, they're favourites for the title. They've just come down from the Premier League. They've sold one player and
they've kept hold of a lot of players they had in the Premier League. Yeah,
they pretty much played the team that they finished last season with minus Dela. To get a 1-1, that's going to be our hardest game of the season at home.
I would probably agree with you. Yeah.
After watching Southampton, I'm not really I think.
Yeah, I think we could do better than that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not really another team other than Ipswich I look in the league and go, I don't think I think they'll just roll us over. I think the passion that our players have got, the quality we've now added to it. Everyone said, oh, we've got a top half team anyway. Now we've added the additions to it as well.
I'll take you back on that penalty decision though, because I can be honest, I don't think I would complain about it if that was up our end. If the ball we reverse it round, so we head it onto someone's arm. I can't be honest. If I didn't see that it was a penalty right in front of me, I'm literally in the corner where it was happening.
Yeah.
And that's happening against us. Then if it was happening for us, I wouldn't say that any Blues fan would shout for penalty at that point.
The 90th minute, 1-0 down, first game of the season.
Maybe.
I think you'd shout for it. I think probably the day after you'd be like, okay, probably not a penalty. But I think you'd feel a bit miffed. For example, I'm not fuming about it. I'm not looking at it going, oh, it's definitely not a penalty or whatever. I'm more annoyed about the Kyogo goal.
I would say so, maybe.
Than that being given as a penalty. I think it was one of those where we've just got to take it and think that's one decision. We had to deal with a lot of bad refs last year. Let's just focus, for me, focus on the positives. Let's move on to the next one. And just think that's hardest home game of the season done with. And we've come out of it smelling of roses, really.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone saying that we were the better team. I haven't seen a single Ipswich. I've watched a couple of their podcasts just to kind of see what that, and all of them are saying, yeah, we got away with one there. And it wasn't, Ipswich just didn't turn up. We made them look bad. It was us. It wasn't they played poorly like Leicester did the other day. We were the team on top.
Exactly. It was not a fluke. We deserved to win that game. It's a disappointment. Allsop had a lot of pressure on his shoulders to save that penalty. He had a couple of times last season.
Yeah.
But that was difficult. That was because George Hurst is a good striker, and all he had to do was really roll it across one side of Ulster. But yeah, I just don't think I would have thought that was a penalty. I can't bring myself to think, even if it had happened to us, that it would be a penalty, because I didn't think it was at the time. And also with the Kyogo goal, like with that Kyogo goal, actually, I feel like if you were to reverse the things around that, I think if I don't know, say George Hurst was doing that to Neumann and Neumann gets chipped and everything, the goal's then disallowed, to be like, really, what for? Like, that feels.
Yeah.
I know what you mean by that. I feel like that's
You'd
the
be
more
thinking,
one I'm miffed about.
we've got away with one there.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas I think the penalty, it's one of those where it's like, under the letter of the law, it's a penalty. Whereas the Kyogo one, it's just pathetic, because, as you said, 2 minutes later, it happened
just
the other
happens
way
again.
around and nothing happened. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Honestly, yeah.
that's the one
I suppose I could give the referee a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, because it is going at speed. And obviously, like, when the ball does come in and then there's arms in the air and then flailing about and everything, then the penalty is given. There was also a bit of a debate on Twitter about people saying that it was sort of dragging some player down. So even if VAR had been in, it would have been given.
That's what I thought at first, in that I thought he'd given a foul for someone dragging the defender down. That's what I thought. And it was only when they showed the replay and it was like, oh, no, he's giving it for that handball. I think I would have been more, if he'd given it for the Iwata thing, then I would have been more, oh yeah, I can understand it.
Yeah, maybe he did. I don't know. It's hard to say with referees nowadays, because he doesn't really show what he gave it for. I feel like referees, particularly with massive moments like that with penalties, you've kind of got to make it obvious to the players what you're giving it for. So if it's handball, like, show that you handball, or if it's like Iwata's like dragging the shirt down or something like that, because then the sky cameras, obviously they're then having to try and interpret what he's actually given, and he just didn't show anything like that, did he?
No, not at all. But as I said, I'm going away from the game, trying to focus more on the positives than the negatives.
Agreed.
I mean, in the video that I showed, I didn't even talk about. All I said was the contentious reffing, and I just focus on the positives of the game, because I think that's what we can.
That's all you can do with Blues, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there were any negatives, really, that we could take away. The only thing you'd say is maybe we dropped off too early. But I think that's just natural, isn't it? That you could see we kind of did it against Nottingham Forest in the friendly. So maybe they'd kind of already planned for that in some way. But I mean, first game of the season against a team like that, you're going to naturally just drop back and kind of go into that back five almost. So you could,
which did work, actually, because we didn't concede from open play, did we?
True. I mean, that was their only shot on target throughout the whole game. So
exactly.
So
I completely agree. There's so many positives to take from it, considering that they are a Premier League team that's just come down, and a proper. They were relegated, but they were a team that were contending for surviving. They beat some big teams as well, so they're definitely no mugs.
Yeah, I think I personally, the way they went about their business last year, I loved, in the fact that they went in, and I look at Sunderland this season, who are spending loads on these foreign players, whereas last season they kind of almost planned for going down, ready for this season.
Exactly.
The likes of Jack Clark. I mean, I think they thought the lap would still be here, but unfortunately for them, not. But they've kind of built, so they're kind of ready for this season. I think we just kind of caught them off guard, and
I agree. Completely
didn't
agree.
Didn't expect us to come at them like like we did. So only positives. And if they're looking into the Blackburn game, I think that's where we're going to see what we really like when we're coming up a team that's, you'd say, is probably lesser. No offense to Blackburn, but
don't beat us, for God's sake. Honestly, I've so many times going to fucking Ewood Park and we never win there. But yeah, I completely agree about the things you said about Ipswich, because I was talking about this on my predictions the other day, actually. Like, it's so refreshing to see a team that does come down not to sack their manager and get rid of all the players and do it all again. Because, like you say, that they're planning for relegation if it does happen, because obviously they don't have like the massive financial backing that some teams do. Obviously, they've prepared well. They kept Kieran McKenna, and even though they did go down, look at the position they are in now. They've actually added to the team that they had. So I completely agree. They are going to be a proper force in the Championship this season, and I think they will get off to a bit of a slow start. I think we're going to really continue to kick on, obviously with Blackburn coming up on Saturday. But yeah, I think that they'll take some time. But I still think I expect them to win the league. I'll be I'll be stunned if we win the league, but because obviously stuff like that doesn't happen to us as fans very often.
I'd be shocked if it's not one of the 3 teams that have come down. I'd be shocked. I can't really
I
see
agree.
who else other than, I think there's us and Coventry are probably the next 2. But even then, I watched the Coventry game on the drive home from holiday, and again, there wasn't really much there for me to get excited for their fans. So
I think it's a interesting league, isn't it? Because like we'll find out on Saturday against Blackburn, but if we do win, then it's kind of hard to see who else will be our competition this season, because you probably expect Blackburn sort of lower mid-table. So if we beat them quite comfortably, then we can't really see who we've got to play against really this season.
Yeah.
But if we lose, then it might show some of the areas where we could lose games this season.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for us is, from what I can see, probably us and Wrexham. We're kind of, and you'd say Charlton as well. We're kind of going up. We're riding that crest of a wave in that we're coming into it really excited. I think all 3 teams that have come down are probably like, they weren't really looking forward to the season. Southampton are coming off one of the worst Premier League seasons ever. Leicester have got all their troubles with the board, and they only just got a new manager. Obviously, Ipswich probably were looking quite confident, but after the first game, I don't think I've seen a single fan that's happy with it. I think there's just a lot of teams where, like even Sheffield United, like we all thought, they're having great. Look at their first game of the season, and already their fans are on the manager's back. I think we're probably the most positive team in the whole league, and I think we're just going to take that. I mean, you can see the attendance. We've just sold out Blackburn. 7,000 fans were taking there, which is incredible for an away. And we've just sold out Oxford as well. The next home game, like,
I think we're on the verge of selling out Leicester as well. So like, there's a lot of games we're going to be bringing a lot of fans to.
Yeah, and I think the fact the fans, we didn't get the capacities we wanted last season. Like more and more, but I'm already looking for when I can go to away games and trying to figure out when I can fit it in, or if I'm going to be able to get a ticket. I mean, that's another thing. But yeah, it's just the positivity. And I think even if we do slip up and we have the odd thing, I know the fans are going to back Davis. Like, he's such the documentary has done him wonders for me. Like, I knew he was good. I loved him anyway, but the documentary has made him look even better in my eyes.
100%, yeah.
And as I say, I think there's every player. There's not a player in this team that I don't like, and that's been very rare. There's always been one or two I've thought, you're a bit flashy, not naming names, Bakuna, but just kind of not really putting themselves out. Where every player just battling 100%. There's no egos. That's the biggest word. There's no egos in this team. And like the one person you'd say would have an ego is probably Jay Sansfield. And he's the one with the least amount of ego in the team. And 100%. I was so happy when he got his goal. I mean, it was the first thing my mum said to me when he scored. She just turned to me and went, I'm so happy for him.
Exactly, yeah. He's such a nice guy as well, isn't he?
Just the pressure that's going to, was on him last season, even this season. Already every person I've seen, still got that £15 million striker. How many penalties is he going to score this season? And it's like,
goal from open play.
1-on-1. Yeah. 1 game, 1 goal, not a penalty. So there you go.
And played really well as well against the team that's just come down from the Premier League. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I mean, like there's just no faults at the moment, so they've got to keep at it. You know, that's the tricky thing there. And when we'll get into the winter months, I think that's when we'll find some real tough opposition, because we've got Southampton twice in that December month, so there might be a bit of back and forth between that. But if we can keep at it and keep our heads and not get carried away by everything. I mean, David said this a lot last season. It's like, don't get distracted by the hype that's going on elsewhere. You know, like we've just got to do our job. You know, the fans can get excited, which is brilliant. And David's got such a calm head. He's such a fantastic manager. I said this the other day, but honestly, he's my favourite Blues manager ever. I love the guy. Honestly, I just think he's the most. Just that everybody would want him as a football manager, wouldn't they? It just brings like the perfect dynamic to every single thing that he does.
For me, it's the fact that not only is he really good, but because he's young, and you saw it in the documentary, he's progressing with the team. Like, this is new for him. He's only done 1 season, and I mean, what a season it's been. But he's kind of, you could see it in the documentary, he had to check himself. And we had those couple of games where we weren't getting the results last season.
Yeah.
And he was getting frustrated. And you could see he had to learn of actually just blasting the players isn't the right thing to do. And you could see he's learning about himself as well. And that's the thing I love, in that we haven't got a manager who thinks they know it all. And like, he's building with the team, which means as the team gets better, he's going to get better as well. He's going to be learning new things, which it's exciting.
I know. I completely agree. That sort of adapting on the job almost.
Yeah.
It gives so much more to a manager, because
Yeah.
I think that's the problem that some of the older managers have, is that some managers like Steve Bruce and like Tony Mowbray, when they come into a job, they've kind of got. I like both of them as managers, so it's probably a bit of a difficult example to use. But like with new managers that come into these sort of new teams, like Kieran McKenna, for example, actually, and like Chris Davis, they can find out new ways of doing things whilst keeping up with modern football. Because obviously, like Mowbray and Bruce are great managers, but even still, it's difficult for them to adapt whilst they've done so many years of managing, etc.
Yeah, and Davis has been to different places as well. Like, he's been with Celtic, so he's been in the Champions League. That's why we're getting these players like Iwata, Kyogo, who want to come, because he's been with them. He's also been with Spurs, so he's seen kind of English football in that way as well. So he's got a real like depth of knowledge in different ways of playing. I think that's, for me, again, that thing of, we've only really seen Davis play one way. And it's going to be exciting to see what he does differently. Like, he went to a back five against Nottingham Forest. We've never done that under Davis. I know we kind of go to like this back three when we get the ball, but like, he's trying different things in pre-season, which is good to see. Even things like, as you say, playing two strikers, Stansfield and Kyogo. No one would have said that. Everyone would have said Doyle's going to play. I mean, I know he got his illness or whatever, but you'd look at that and go, oh, then Williamson's going to come in, or Gardner Hickman's going to come in. But no, he's changed it on the fly, and it's worked. Like, yes, we got the one. It was only a 1-1, but should have got all 3 points.
Yeah, there was no fault of our own, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
Yes, it's completely true. But yeah, we could go on about like the brilliance of this team and everything in a long detail. But let's have a look forward to some of the two games, actually. So we've got Sheffield United in the Cup on Wednesday night. I'm a bit annoyed that we've draw Sheffield United, because I don't think either of us are really looking forward to playing each other, if I'm being honest. I mean, like, if the Sheffield United team arrived that played against Bristol City the other day, then I think we'll absolutely murk them. But I think both of us would have quite been happy to have a League Two team or something like that. You know, just like easy win into the next round, and then you can play someone else and everything. But like, when it's at this stage, and you've kind of got to go like, how much are we gonna? Because obviously there's a bit of an issue with like the managers to think like, I think definitely with Sellers as well, because if they lose pretty badly, then he might be in a bit of trouble. But I think with Davis and Sellers a little bit, it's like how much do we put the actual first team out? You know, it's a bit of a difficult one. Whereas like if you played a League Two team, you stick your second team out, can't you? But you kind of got to stick your first team out with this one, haven't you?
Yeah, I thought that, but then I also thought, well, you say like sending out our second team, like Blues of years ago, second team would have been like youngsters that we'd never heard of before coming in that have played like 2 games. Like, our second team now, Beadle, Ethan Laird, Bielik, Cashin. You've probably still got to play Cochrane at left back. Mark Leonard, Gardner Hickman as your midfield.
Yeah.
You'll probably does he play the new striker Marvin?
Maybe
if he does for minutes. If not, then it'll be Dykes. Doyle might get some minutes. Williamson. Like,
yes.
Even our second team is like, you'd probably, if we got halfway through the season and we put that team out, like, I'd be a bit like, what's happening?
Yeah.
But I'd still be wanting us to
happy
win.
with the team. Exactly.
So I that's what I'm expecting. I'm kind of expecting Davis to say to the players, they did that against Ipswich. We've got Sheffield United. Prove to me that you should play against Blackburn.
I agree.
I think that's the best thing, in that, like we were saying with Laird and Asai Samuel, there's competition in every place now. So no one is going to back off. I mean, we saw it with Davis with Dembele, first game of last season, hoyed him off at half time.
Yeah.
He was sold like 2 weeks later. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone doesn't turn up in this game, then off you go. We'll find you a loan to someone.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a bit of a
and we'll
pointer.
get someone else in. Yeah, we'll get someone else in to replace you who can do it. Like, I kind of like his ruthlessness, although he has kind of brought the team together. He'll also be like, well, if you're not working, and that's 100% the Tom Brady mentality.
Yeah,
that's been brought
100%. Yeah, no,
So,
I completely agree with that. Actually, yeah, because
I'm expecting changes for Sheffield United, but not in the terms of like weakening the side.
Yeah, so maybe a few first team players, maybe a couple of second team. But yeah, I completely agree that there'll be a couple of maybe some big sort of departures afterwards. I mean, I think the one that might be a little bit controversial, but maybe is Bielik actually, because like if he plays and doesn't do particularly well, then we could get a bit of money for him as well. That's the thing if we sell him on.
Yeah, I did think about this, and I thought obviously he's club captain. Do we was it last year we got something like, did someone put like a 4 million?
Stoke actually.
Someone was coming in from that. I think if we can get 5 million,
that's good business.
Ben Davis back to replace him, because you can get Davis for a lot less. Who's played with Clara, he's left-footed, so
good shout,
and that's an extra however much in the bank that we can either keep back for January or next year or whenever, or if you just want to go out and spend it, then I mean, I like Bielik, and for me, I prefer him as a centre back. I think I'm one of the few people that actually like him as a centre back rather than a midfielder.
I would say so. Yeah, I probably am in the same camp as that.
I think he's too slow for midfield. I think he gets turned very easily. But I wouldn't be opposed to selling him if we get some decent money, bringing a Ben Davis in, who, yes, is a bit older, but I think we all saw last season he's probably a better player, and adding to that.
Interesting, yeah. I think that the bit about Ben Davis being left-footed, actually, it's a good sort of comparison, isn't it? Yeah, I like that, actually, yeah.
Because I know we've brought in Erin Cash in, but I mean, I've got a bit of I know he is quite slow, but I could see them kind of putting him at left back for a bit as like a backup to Cochrane in case he gets injured. Because obviously Buchanan's out. I just thought he's not the tallest, and Davis likes tall centre backs from the looks of it. So I think when we signed him, my initial thought was, is he going to be like almost a backup left back that can play centre back that way?
Yeah,
so,
maybe. Yeah, interesting. It'd be interesting to see how we all sort of fit players in, because like, if Cashin can play left back, then he could sort of like, you could almost sort of like push the team around in a different way. So you had like the right hand side be really attacking and the left hand side be a little bit more defensive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Cochrane doesn't really get forward much anyway. He has the odd moments where he pushes forward, but it's very much when we get the ball, he goes into centre back. So,
and he doesn't make the sort of runs that Gray and Osai Samuel would make on that right hand side, does he? Yeah, exactly. Interesting. Yeah, completely. I mean, like in terms of the game, are we that fussed if we lose?
I'd be a bit annoyed. I think we've got the quality to go through, and I think Davis would be annoyed as well. I think it's more the performance is the important thing, but I would like to get through.
I would too, to be fair. Yeah, I agree. I think the performance is first. So if we lose, then it's not that big of an issue. But if we play well and really should deserve to win, and we lose again after we just lost to Ipswich, which is lost 3 points on Ipswich, then I would be a bit annoyed actually, because we very rarely get through in this competition nowadays. I may have won this competition before in the past, but we can't seem to get over the first couple of rounds in these ones now.
Well, it's very often we got Fulham last year and we got done by Jay, and then when we signed him. So we do seem to get quite difficult teams first out, don't we? I feel like we've had Norwich like every year in this competition, apart from last year. I feel like we always get Norwich away for some reason, and then they always knock us out. So if we can get through this first round, I think that'll be good. And I say, like the FA Cup, the amount of eyes that were on us last year for Newcastle, if we can get another draw like that, get through this one, and then get a Premier League team, I'm sure Sky Sports will be all over that again.
Am I going too early to say that I want the Villa in it? That'll just
I
start.
don't. I don't. I'm very much that I want to stay away from them until we play them in the Prem. I want to
Right,
stay away
yeah.
from them because I just know. You just know what would happen. You just
Really?
know they yeah. It. I think even if they snuck a 1-0 win and we were the better
Yeah,
team, they would laud it as, oh, but all this money was still.
I
So
know, that is true.
I'd rather stay away. Get a Premier
I'd
League.
love it though.
Yeah, I'd like to get Fulham again
That'd
and
be good, yeah.
show how much we've moved forward.
Mm,
I think that would be a good test. But yeah,
yeah, I would just
I
got to
mean,
go over Sheffield United first, yeah.
give us Man United, really.
Oh my God, yeah, I completely. That honestly, there's a couple of times where I've wanted to play Man United in these cups before, where I genuinely thought we could actually beat them, and like it was a few seasons ago. Actually,
Yeah.
I remember we lost to West Ham in the cup, and I thought like if we could have beaten West Ham, if we'd have got Man United in that draw, I think we'd have won that game. Unless it was
Yeah.
like Adams and Jota and the team we had at the time. But I'm of that impression again now, and people are saying, "Oh, Man United in the back, they've got in Burma, they've got Cisco and those type of players, and they'll do all right for them, I think." But also at the same time, I think we could rifle them. Like they seem like such a like egotistical, whiny type of team, and like I just feel like if we could play them, we could really get at them, couldn't we?
If we could play them at St Andrews, I feel like Newcastle almost the wrong team to play because I think they they like that atmosphere. Their players. I feel like if we had someone like a Man United who at the time were all over the place, that the atmosphere
I agree.
would have got to them a bit.
Exactly, because like honestly, like Newcastle were on the up at the time as well, weren't they? They just made the cup final. They're playing really well, and then they come to us and had a bit of a shock, and so they really put the afterburners on. Well, I don't think United could do that against us. I feel like teams like that, like Spurs and United and maybe Everton as well. They're big clubs and they've got good players and they've got great fans and everything. But if the going got tough, and if we played like the way we did against Newcastle, against those United and Spurs teams, I just think we'd just carry on because they'd be throwing their arms around and getting really upset with everybody, and the fans would be on their back and the manager would be upset. I just feel like we could really put a great performance on and show the sort of the footballing world, like, we can roll around with some of the big teams because we could last season, and we're nowhere near the team that we had against Newcastle last season.
And I think that's what's going to put us in good stead going through this season because I think there is like. If you look at every team, there's not really that many teams where I'd say the fan base is completely happy. Yeah, I'd look at us and there's nothing really to moan about, which is,
I know.
I mean, weird for us. But I think just that positivity that we're taking through, I just say, I think if it doesn't go to plan on Wednesday, then I think maybe that's a bit of like what's going on here. But if we do just go through them, then that's only going to make it more positive going forward. And I think once that builds and builds, we saw it last season, like sky's the limit, really.
100% is. I mean, obviously we have lost at home in cup games this last season, but still haven't lost in the league. So that won't mean if we do lose to Sheffield United, it won't mean that the home record's gone, which still actually is still going amazingly.
Yeah.
We have not lost in the league since April of 2024. I think that was against Cardiff. Like, that's unheard of as Blues fans. Honestly, it's incredible. But obviously in the league after Sheffield United, hopefully we will win that game. It'll be good. One game I'm really hoping we win is against Blackburn away because I don't think in my entire living life of being a Blues fan, I don't think I've seen us win at Ewood Park. I cannot remember for the life of me the game that we won there.
I can't remember us either. The earliest memory I've got of us playing Blackburn is when Lee Novak scored that really long range effort. It was around Christmas time, and even then I think we lost that game.
Yeah, I think that's right, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like every time we go there, it's like we just don't turn up, do we?
Exactly.
So, hopefully,
interesting. Yeah.
Hopefully this time will be different.
Oh, where's my charger, for God's sake? Not here.
It was going so well.
I know, literally the last few seconds. Wire gone. Do I gamble on doing it really quickly? Yeah, fuck it, let's go. Yeah, so we'll keep it quick on Blackburn, obviously, because my laptop's about to run out of power. Hit me with your best score prediction, Joshy boy.
I'm thinking. I'm not usually this positive, but I'm thinking like 3-0.
I'd love a 3-0.
I don't see us conceding, and I think if we get one early, like first 20 minutes, I think they just fall apart. I think their fans will get on their back because, from what I've heard, they don't like the manager anyway.
Yeah.
I think they're not the team they were under Eustace. They're a lot more defensive. They've lost a lot of players and haven't really replaced them. So yeah, I think I'm going 3-0. I think Kyogo will score. I think Jimmy will get his first also.
That'd be great.
And I think Anderson's going to continue his really good form.
I completely agree, actually, because I think I completely agree on the sort of the wingers and Anderson and Gray getting the goals, because I can see Allsop playing a role in those goals.
Yeah.
I feel like those balls over the top, particularly against a team that's not as good as Ipswich, in the form that we're in and the vibe that we've got and everything, I think they could really contribute with a couple of assists, really. Yeah, I completely agree, actually. So I'll go with I can't expect us to... I'd love us to get a clean sheet because, like I was saying earlier, we never win there, honestly. And I've got nothing really against Blackburn, but they do really annoy me because we never win there. So I'd probably have to say a 3-1, just because I feel like they might get an early goal and take the lead, which would annoy me. But I feel like if we do concede, actually, it would give us a bit of a kick up the arse, actually, just to be like, yeah, right, this is an experience we've not had in a while. Behind the people are on our backs and everything, so we'll have to battle with that. But I think they will. And I honestly, I think if we do lose, either one, we've absolutely cursed at Ewood Park and we're never going to win there ever, or there is stuff that we do still need to work out, and opposition teams might have a bit of a threat, because I don't really know Blackburn's team well that this season. So I don't know what threat they could bring us, but I guess we'll find out on Saturday, won't we?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they, as I said earlier, they're kind of a different team than they were under Eustace at the start of last season. They played very much then how we played under Eustace as well. But I think since then, I don't really know. I know they've lost a couple of players. I think Tyrese Dolan has gone, who, from what I could hear, was kind of their guy last season. So I don't really know. I mean, by then they might have Koji Miyoshi, because I heard he's been linked with them. So
that's
that might
bizarre,
be,
that is.
Yeah, he was, like, when I heard that link, he was a player I thought, I wouldn't have put him with Blackburn. I didn't think that was the way they play. So I might have to kind of brush up on how they do play. But I definitely expect us to have possession. I see it a lot like the Ipswich game, in that we're going to have a lot of the ball. But I think if we do score, I don't think we'll let up like we did against Ipswich. I think we'll get the ball back and we'll just kind of carry on. I think it'll be kind of like last season, a bit more, in that I expect them to kind of sit back, take it.
Interesting, yeah.
And I'm not sure how their fans will take that, whether that's the kind of play they like or not. But yeah.
Yeah, I get your point, actually, yeah, because they might start to feel the pressure of the game and just trying to, let's not get worn out by these just passes and everything. But come on, Blues, honestly, it's been too fucking long of not winning at Ewood Park, honestly. We never win there, so it's about time we break that record.
About time.
Because I think it'd be good as well, because it shows then as well, like, you don't always have to carry those sort of stereotypes that were all typical Blues and everything. So it'd be great to finally win there. So I'm going 3-1. Josh is going for a 3-0 Blues. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. If any of the Blues players are watching this and everything, got to beat Blackburn. It's like, it's been too bloody long since we've had a win there. I genuinely cannot remember. Like, usually I can pluck something out of my mind because I've got quite a good memory when it comes to Blues, but genuinely I cannot remember for the life of me if we've won in my lifetime. I'm sure we have won at Ewood Park or at Blackburn in the past sometime, but never, not in the last 10 years. There's no way about that.
I feel like it was a cup game. I don't know why my mind's going to like a first
we played them
game or something, but
we played them a couple of seasons ago, didn't we? We had Jordan James and Cadra, and we drew with them, didn't we? Because Cadra got the opening goal, and then James got a last-minute equaliser.
Yes, yeah.
But then we lost the one at home, which we can't we can beat them at home pretty well, but we can't beat them away. Like, I remember, like, one of my favourite first games that I remember as a young person actually supporting the Blues was the 4-1 at home under McLeish. The day we got relegated. I remember that really well, actually. I could probably actually do the whole entire commentary of that if I put my mind to it, actually. But yeah, honestly, like at home we do pretty well against them. Away, never win them. Like I don't even get a draw half the time. It's always a defeat. So it's about time we broke that. It's about time we got the curse gone from Ewood Park, and maybe we can start breaking a few other records that have stood for a long time and getting back into the Premier League, and not beating the Villa since in the league for about however many years I think it is now. I think it's about 2005 the last time we won in the league against them or something like that. So that's a bright, nice way to enter it, isn't it? But yeah, it's all looking up for us. It's massively positive. There's so many fantastic things going on at the club, and it's honestly, as a content creator myself, and Josh, we probably feel this as well, it's just so nice just to talk positively about things. And obviously, because I do the vlog as well, there's a amount of people that just come up to me with like happy things to talk about and just enjoying their lives and everything. It's just so rewarding to have that, And I know a lot of you do come up and talk to me about the vlogs and everything. So please carry on doing, it's a fantastic thing of my day. It's amazing, really, to consider like we went from doing protests outside about the ownership to now where we are with Nighthead and everything. So yeah, onwards and upwards from here on out. Josh, thank you very much for joining the podcast today, man. It's been a good chat. Be sure to check out Josh's videos as well. He's going to be doing a few match analysis videos for us this season. That's not you can't put a plural in it.
It's not easy, no.
Yeah, go check his videos out. He's going to be doing a few more for us in this season. A couple of videos he's already done has been absolutely fantastic. So be sure to go and check that in the description. Vlog will be back on Wednesday night, Thursday morning because it's a night game, and then the vlog for the Blackburn game will be out on Saturday night. So yeah, loads more content to come from us. We are hopefully going to be at the Football Content Awards as well later this year. Obviously at Ellen Road in November. Yeah, there's too much to actually remember nowadays, but it's getting a bit ridiculous. But still, really looking forward to the season. Fingers crossed we can beat Blackburn on the weekend. And yeah, be sure to drop us what you think to this in the comments down below. Like and subscribe for more blue stuff. Loads of vlogs, loads of podcast content and news and everything. If you want to check out our website as well, we've got loads of great new writers as well. So be sure to go and read up on some of that stuff as well. Which does remind me now I forgot to post my actual article that was meant to be writing yesterday, but never mind. So yeah. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching or listening on the audio platforms, and keep right on.
Keep right on.